Well, that's where it becomes very easy to dismiss them. But what we have to understand about the Russian spies is that even under the KGB, only 15% of the resources were ever allocated to espionage. That's not what they're about. They perform exactly the way they're supposed to some extent. When the two of them in Cambridge were able to register to vote, they got close to policymakers. That's really what they're trying to do, is get close to policymakers, work on recruitment, be a sleeper agent for when you need it. And you can't be naive enough to think that Putin is going to invest these kind of millions of dollars that it took to get them here. One of them got a house for $481,000 just for laughs. Now, Anna Chapman's unique in the fact that her job clearly was to draw as much attention to herself as she could, and she's perfectly suited for that. But at the same time, she's doing this espionage thing. She's trying to break into policy circles.
So yesterday, let me find my note here. Yesterday's story, British intelligence officials investigating reports that accuse Russian redhead spy Anna Chapman. And even, you see, this is kind of funny, too, because this is coming from them over there, and they got to go the redheaded spy rather than, you know, accuse Russian spy Anna Chapman. Worked her sexy secret agent on Princes William and Harry. Okay, apparently Chapman, now locked up in New York, frequently visited the naughty nightclub Bouj's, I guess it is, Boujis, in London, expressly to bump into the princes and chat them up. This is the London Mirror newspaper. She was
Fox News is reporting it too now.
Yes. Now, the M15, the British intelligence agency that investigates domestic issues, has opened an inquiry into Chapman's hunting of Wills and Harry, with an eye toward learning if she ever met with them and what happened if she did. I want to know, did she have a hamburger with the president? Because he was right down there in her neighborhood. Remember, 1 block away?
That's certainly possible.
It is possible.
I'm sure she's an Obama supporter.
Now, an interesting thing, and if you have it there, I'll let you do it from your article. You're talking about, even if you start right now this minute, if you start educating a new generation of Americans, it's going to take you 15 to 20 years to turn the tide on the way that the people are thinking right now. They're not going to go back to, you know, and you're talking about how serious do we take this, right?
Right. Well, that quote came from a defector, a Soviet defector, and he was interviewed in the 1970s, if that gives you any idea how things don't change and how everything old is new again. Right. And, you know, it really dovetails with everything I wrote about in Obama. That's when I say, you know, it's their fault that Obama got elected. It's really our fault. It was a confluence of factors. One of them being how our pop culture is putrefied. Another is these what I now call state-run indoctrination centers. I can't call them schools anymore because the only thing that they're teaching is global warming and social justice. And that's exactly what this guy's talking about, is filling what he called their soft heads with all this propaganda. I remember, I'm dating myself, but I am old enough to remember people during the 1960s being accused of being red baiters and paranoids, and then we found out with the Verona papers in 1995 that Joe McCarthy was exactly right. There really were communists hiding under our beds, and worse, they were in the State Department and the military and the OSS, which was the precursor to the CIA.
Because you say that most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the position of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational systems, and you're stuck with them. You can't get rid of them. They are contaminated. They're programmed to think and react to certain stimuli and certain patterns. And you cannot change their mind even if you expose them to the authentic information. Oh, you know, that applies to the...
Those are called liberals. Or progressives, as they prefer to be called. Right. Have you ever tried to introduce facts to a liberal? It doesn't work very well. It doesn't say well.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you.
They just start screaming and name-calling.
I was, you know, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but over the 4th of July, I ran into a gob of them, you know, and it's, that crazy nut, Sarah Palin. And I said, okay, so, look, would you tell me about Nancy Pelosi? Oh, I think it's time to put the hot dogs on, and let's, you know what I mean?
Sarah Palin apparently is a huge national security threat. The Russian spies are just comedy. That's just high comedy.
You know what, and if they would listen to conservative, I had a story a couple weeks ago about, Sarah Palin. She's lower rated than Hillary and the guy that wears 4 underwear, Romney or whatever, and you know what I'm saying? So I think he does. Yes, no, I checked that out and it's true. But anyway, she's not a threat to anybody, but boy, they are worried about her. So
they consider the Tea Party a much greater threat to the national security than Ahmadinejad getting nukes.
Who is this? Let me see if we're coming up on a break in about a minute. You're talking about Vicky Palez, Juan Lazaro?
Yes.
Who are they, by the way?
Vicky we think she may have staged her own kidnapping in Peru, by the way. She wrote for a Spanish-language newspaper. They were another phony Russian spy couple. And he's the one who got the job at, Baruch College in New York? I'm not real familiar with the school, but apparently he got a job. They immediately go where they're not going to be noticed. Academia, for one, is the first place they go because they'll fit right in so nicely. And he taught, like I said, he was described by his students as a professor like no other because of his passionate denunciation of American politics.
Well, we're coming up on a break, and when we come back, pardon me, I want to talk a little bit about Obama's Attorney General, Eric Holder. And I'm going to let Joey tell you, you've heard it before, but Russian spies, and this may be our biggest threat. We'll be right back. Joey Tish, she's author of Obama Nuts. Let's take a break.
Does your furnace need repair? Your house need cleaning? Or maybe you're ready to update your kitchen? Big or small, whatever your home improvement need, now it's easy to find the right home pro for your project. Log on to redo.servicemagic.com. ServiceMagic is a free online resource with instant access to top-rated remodelers, maids, handymen, roofers, and many other home contractors. Just go to redo.servicemagic.com. ServiceMagic has a network of licensed and insured contractors and hundreds